Shit. And just like that, we're back.
We are here.
My man.
It's good.
A pleasure.
It's good. Likewise. Always a pleasure to see y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
If y'all unaware, we have a legend in the building.
Ha, ha.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to introduce him because legends introduce themselves.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
My name is Sid. As a DJ, play the music. So it depends on who you are and how you know me, but it's either Sid or it's play the music, or then there's some other hood shit that we won't get into.
yeah. That's for another podcast.
Yes, sir.
But for those who aren't aware, you mentioned you're DJ, but that's not where you stop.
No, not at all. I'm the owner operator of Everything Is Fake, Everything Is Real. One man band, one man show, a streetwear brand for men with women in mind that explores duality through graphic story and offers premium cut and sewn goods here and there as well. So not just a little t-shirt brand,
right,
or a clothing brand. It's actually a lifestyle brand. Put out a bunch of home goods and different accessories as well too. So anything creative, I like to be in that space.
Nice. So for those who may not be aware, me and Ant and a few other of us, we started out taking pictures, and we are from Long Island, obviously, and we eventually made our way to the boroughs, and we started getting into party photography and event photography, and that's where we met Sid. Met him on the stage. I don't know how we got on the stage, but we got there.
I think my earliest any memory of y'all was you taking a picture of me or somebody else that was playing on the same bill with like a little. It wasn't a disposable camera. But
it was a little film camera.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, but who are these kids? And are they the hired photographers, and what's going on, and then I just met y'all little by little, and it was like, yo, these kids, I like their energy, like, it's pretty dope,
Right. So, just because our introduction to you was DJing, I think that'd be a good place to start.
Sure.
How did you get into DJing?
I won't even give y'all the childhood stuff, like the early stuff.
Oh man!
Like the first time I was ever on Techniques or whatever, I think I was like 12 years old. My best friend is 3 years older than me. He had like a paper route or something at that time. Maybe I was even younger. I was not even 12. I was probably like 10 or 11.
Damn.
He had a paper route, and he wanted to save up for Techniques, and he did that. And then we used to go to his crib, and I could never get it. Like I love music, grew up on hip-hop, but I could never get it. It wasn't good in any capacity. Fast forward to 2012, my brother started a day party uptown called Brunch Bounce. And then so now I'm every once a month, I'm surrounded by all my homies that are DJs.
Oh.
And me being the young 31-year-old at that time, not to age myself, but I was just a lot more braggadocious, and I would talk a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? So I used to tell them all the time, because of my just innate love for music, because I used to write raps, I used to produce, all that, whatever, right? I'm like, I know music. So I used to tell them during their sets, y'all lucky I'm not a DJ, because I would smoke you. And I would say this to them on a regular basis. So one day, one of them, who actually ended up being one of my mentors, when I said that to him mid-set, he took his headphones off and said, here. And I chickened out. I was like, oh, fuck no.
Wow.
Right? Hell no.
Right.
Mid-set, just get on? I was like, nah, that was his way of shutting me up.
Pressure.
Then another homie who I actually really looked up to, as a DJ or whatever, he's a really good human, but as a DJ, he told me one day, he said, my bad, he said, yo, why don't you start DJing? He was like, you have an ear for music. So it almost became a bucket list thing. It actually did become a bucket list thing. I had two things on my bucket list. I've been driving manual cars since I was 12 years old. But he was like, my bucket list was learn how to ride a motorcycle, right? Like I know it in practice, but actually get on a bike and do it, and DJ once in front of people. That was my bucket list. And I fucking bombed.
Ooh.
I put up an IG post about this too, saying this story, but I bombed. I practiced for 2 weeks for a half an hour set at Output in the Panther Room. It was me and two other homies. We were each gonna get a half hour. So the first hour and a half was us three, and the three of us actually started learning on the same day in the same crib, being taught by the same person.
Damn.
I fucking bombed, yo.
Ooh.
I don't know how. I played 22 songs in 30 minutes, and it was a total disaster.
What was that like? That experience that right after you got off a stage and you just realized I really stunk this shit up.
You know what? I don't know if it was that moment, like any particular moment, but I knew that after that, the question was, do you give up or do you get better and go?
Yep.
Right? The other thing is that a little bit after that, a couple weeks after, well, maybe like that was in September because that was my brother's birthday. A few weeks before that, we were at my boy's, damn, and if she sees this, she's gonna be like, dang, you're never gonna let that go. We were at my boy's fiance, then girlfriend's parents' house, little upstate, right? And we're chilling. He brought his controller with him and speakers, so we're all on the deck sitting at this large patio table, right? And he's like, yo, he's telling one of my boys, he's like, yo, get on. But he gave him a full-on tutorial, how to use the shit, everything, right? And I'm watching the whole thing. So half an hour goes by, 40 minutes, he smoked it, whatever, he did his thing. We were like, oh, he can actually spin. He's like, you want to get on? I was like, yeah. My man goes, yo, there's play, and walks away.
Wow.
The dude whose controller it is, right? And this is my homie. I was just with him last night, too. So I was like, wow. Yo, I'm like 5 minutes in. His girl is sitting like across from me or something, in whatever direction. And I look up. I swear, I'm like 3 records in. And she looks at me dead in my face and she goes, yo, you fucking suck.
Damn.
Right?
Oh, man.
And yo, at that moment, I was like, I never want to hear that shit again.
Right.
And I never want to feel that again.
Right.
So then comes the joint at Output, and it was like, nobody said it to you, but you know.
You feel it.
You know you didn't do your thing.
Right.
Right? And now it was like, do you take it serious and go, or do you just say, fuck it, this is not for me?
And we know where the answer to that was.
Yeah. 7 years later this year, still DJing.
That's beautiful, man.
I have a question. How did you?
My bad for the long-winded answer.
Nah, we
but
love
that's
it. We
the
love
story.
it.
That's the story.
Nah, it's an interesting story. What about what made you decide on Play the Music? How did?
Okay, that's a good question. So around that time, I was going to a lot of festivals. EDM, the bubble was just blowing up. It hadn't even popped yet. It was blowing up. We had gone to EDC Vegas a couple times and a lot of different festivals here and shit like that. And I realized that the DJs who are technically in that world, they're the artists, right? They either have a really short one-word name that's catchy, or like some of them are using like 3 words, right? And I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, I want to go that route, you know? And then I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and it didn't take long. But usually when I settle on something, like in my mind, it's because I'm so like picky and critical. And it was just like, what the fuck do DJs do? We play the music. So that's my name, play the music.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I hate DJ names. Sorry, DJs. I hate DJ names that start with DJ. I fucking hate it. It's stupid to me because fine, at a particular moment, or if you're in a particular segment as a genre, I get it, but outside of that, I don't know. I think it's corny. And it's even people to be like, oh, you're DJ, play the music. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm play
the music.
That's,
you know
because it's such a unique, but like it stands out.
I appreciate that.
It's like a name that really stands out.
You don't hear rappers running around calling themselves MC anything anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, what are we talking about? Why are we still there?
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
But yeah, that's how they came about.
Speaking of the EDM, I remember we talked one time. You mentioned that you had a set at a festival, right?
Mysteryland.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I played Mysteryland twice actually.
What is like your favorite space to DJ at, like a festival, a venue?
They're different. You know what I mean? I think that I got to DJ 3 festivals. Mysteryland, which was on the Woodstock grounds. I did that 2 years in a row.
Ooh.
And that was like super special. That was super special because the first time we did it, we were told and we were interviewed and asked the question, how does it feel to be the first group of Latinos performing on the Woodstock grounds since Carlos Santana at the original Woodstock?
He smoked
that question
Yeah.
just blew my mind. I don't know if anybody else that was with me really felt that, you know, or maybe they did, maybe they didn't. We've never really talked about it, but that was a super special, you know, just thing to learn. But that same festival, so the sound guy, I get carted off because we're like running a little later, whatever. I got the first set from my crew or whatever. It was an hour and a half set. And the sound dude comes up to me and he goes, yo, you ready? Because I had my USBs in and all that shit. And he goes, you ready? And I was like, yeah. He was like, by the way, no reason to be nervous. You're just the first person pressing play in the entire festival.
Oh my
Taps me on the
God.
shoulder and walks away. This is my first festival set. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Pressure.
If
Yeah.
anything goes wrong, it's on me. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
And I have video of that entire set. And I could have sworn I bodied it. Don't get me wrong. People have fun. But 2-3 years later, looking back at that footage, I was like, man, you stunk. And it's not that I stunk. It's that I just got exponentially better as time
Right.
went by.
I mean, that's how everything
know?
is, right? You feel.
But I will say this. The following year, we went back. So that year, we had 2 stages. Mysteryland granted the Brunch Bounce company basically 2 stages. There was a pineapple stage, which literally was a pineapple made out of balloons, a huge pineapple made out of balloons, right? And it was the first stage you got to right off the campgrounds.
Oh, nice.
Then you walked all the way up the hill to the main grounds, and the first stage there is a ship. It looks like a pirate ship.
Oh, I actually went to a mystery where they
But
had
they
that.
basically turned it into a DJ booth, and that
Okay.
shit had a big hill. All my homies were DJing up there. The next year, I played the 3rd set on that pirate stage. They gave it to us for the whole day too.
Ooh.
When I can tell you, yo, I will put that set up against a lot of sets that were played that day
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
with confidence that it's a fire fucking set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've gone back and listened to it. I've seen video of it.
Right.
But then I also played Life is Beautiful in Vegas the week before the mass shooting.
Oh, wow.
Same grounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is also an interesting experience. I didn't do my thing that day for several reasons, but you know, it was an amazing experience. But in terms of parties, I think it's different. It's an intimate,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
versus-
No, I can see why like a festival would be completely different. What about genre wise? What's your favorite genre to spin or like night type of night?
To be honest, that shifts. At one point, I wanted to play. I started as a house DJ, house and electronic, right?
Okay.
But I never wanted to be pigeonholed, so I started to learn how to play just like everything.
Right.
Man, it shifted from that to open format to like just straight party rocking, and then over the past 2 years, 2.5 years, I think, like it's been a lot of like just Latin music because I'm bored with American music, like the new American music. I really like what's going on in the urban Latin space. So as
Yeah.
of late, I've enjoyed playing more anything that's
Yeah.
not American.
Latin.
Okay.
Are there any Latin parties coming up? Because yo, I remember the Latin nights at Lot,
At
man.
Lot,
They
yeah.
were amazing.
Man,
For any
I almost don't
Latinos
even want to
watching.
like.
No.
I'm gonna be real political about how I answer that shit.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
We're working on it. We're working on it
Okay.
for sure. I think anybody that was at La 45 during those reggaeton parties understands
Yeah.
what was going on in that place. You know, lying down the block, fucking people not leaving till 4 a.m.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, I like playing Afro sets. I like playing, you know, dembow sets, reggaeton sets. You know, or all of it in a set. You know, some baile funk. You know, just a lot of everything that's not American music. You know?
Okay.
For now.
Yeah.
you know?
So, I have a question. How would you say that being a DJ has informed your direction of going towards making apparel and things of that nature?
Got you. Okay. I think the greatest thing that DJing can teach somebody is how to be a servant, how to be in a servant role, right? Because basically, when you're spinning, right?
Yeah.
You're not spinning for yourself. Some
Right.
DJs
Do, yeah.
Right? And that's not what you're supposed to do.
Gotta
You're
read.
supposed to spin for the people. Follow the rules. Make the girls dance. The guys will follow. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's a servant role. Plus, the other part is that whether it's a 1-hour set or an all-night set, you're controlling or contributing to the soundtrack that belongs to a bunch of strangers' night out. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, in terms of making apparel, making lifestyle goods and stuff like that, I think it's really like spreading my brand's message and keeping what people like in mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna always do. You know, you have to. You
It's a
have
balance.
to cater to your customer, but you also have to condition your customer. You know what I'm
Steve
saying?
Jobs
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a balance. It's a balance. I'm not gonna put out scarves if people are on an anti-scarf rally. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
some people do that and it works for them, and that's
Right.
just, you know.
But then there's certain things that you also want to bring to light, like of course, the immigration campaign you did.
Yeah.
And then, the 421, that was a cool one,
Yeah.
too. And then there's also seasonal ones, like your latest one, of course.
So we've covered basically gentrification, like start from chapter 2 forward, right? Because chapter 1 was just like, let me show y'all that a young new designer of color, right, doesn't automatically need to just put out t-shirts and hats, right? So we came with full-blown cut and sewn, hand embroidered pieces, right? Then after that, it was like, all right, let's go into the graphic story. And the first thing we touched on was gentrification with the thank you for leaving pieces, right? The next one after that was the legal chapter, which celebrated marijuana, came out on chapter 3 was immigration, right? And we put out the immigrant university crew next. Then after that was the legal chapter, because marijuana is legal now, you know? And it's the Marijuana World Tour team. And then after that, chapter 5 just opened up, and it's dedicated to New York City summer. You know, it's an ode to New York City, but also to like give. If you watch the media that's gonna basically accompany every drop, you're gonna see two things. You're gonna see the beautiful and you're gonna see the gritty, right? Because you get a lot of people that come to New York now, and it's like, hey, I live in New York. Where are you from? Montana, Tennessee.
Yeah,
you know,
see a lot,
Iowa,
you hear a lot of that. Yeah,
whatever. And it's like, yo, you should get to know both sides instead of just your little midtown bubble.
Right.
You know, there's a lot going on here, and while you're enjoying all these amenities and this, that, and the other that either your trust fund is paying for, your dad or your mom's credit card is paying for, whatever, on the other side of that bridge or further uptown or maybe even further downtown, there's some people that are going through it, you know what I mean? And there's, you know, certain things that hold people back, there's certain things that push people forward, but either way, there's dualities and everything, you know, and I'm just trying to explore that as best as possible through the graphic story, you know?
And that sounds like pretty much how, if I were to ask you how you would explain why you chose everything is real, I mean everything is fake, everything is real, because there's two sides. Is that how would you?
It's also a personal thing too. It's almost like an agreement, a personal agreement with myself, because I've been wanting to do it. I've been wanting to be a retailer since I was like 26 years old.
Okay.
Right, so let's call it 15 years.
Okay.
Right. Always been into the arts, always been in a creative space or whatever. But the interesting thing is that everything that stopped me from doing what I wanted to do was absolutely fake and fear-based. 100%.
Yeah.
You know, so I understand that it can be, you know, fear of failure or complacency or, you know, what's the word, procrastination. It can be a lot of things, but it all boils back to things that aren't real.
Right.
Like the real shit is the courage, it's the drive, it's the ambition, the motivation, the discipline, the love for what you do, you know. And at the end of it all, I looked at it and I was like, yo, if I was given a talent, what I consider a talent, right, or maybe somebody else considers a talent, how would I be okay with God leaving this earth and not using the talents that I was given?
Right.
It just doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So it's a personal like agreement with myself. You know, it's the exploration of dualities, you know, and a lot of it is an ode to New York City, you know, for real. So
I could see that that's like super like a part of like the identity of the brand.
it's important to me. It's important to me. You know, it's the city that made me. It's the city that raised me, you know, 100%. And it's like some of my friends, you know, are moving to Los Angeles or already moved to Los Angeles.
Right.
You know, there's somebody else close to me that's about to move to Miami, you know, and I'm like, I've always wanted to have a space in either one of those two cities, but I just can't see myself living. You know, my car can't not have a New York license plate. My ID cannot be New York. My mailing address cannot be NY. Like it's crazy to me. Like, because I look at it like, all right, you know, when you're a little kid and you look at a globe for the first time, right, and you're like, man, this is like a lot of places, right? And then like New York is like this little pin drop on that globe, right? And it's like, yo, I look at it like, not even New York State, obviously, but New York City, right, is even smaller, obviously. If you're lucky enough to be born and raised there and conditioned to the struggles and you can like understand how to make it there, as opposed to just coming from elsewhere and try to just, you know, take all the cool shit from it and not stay for the struggle. If I'm lucky enough to be here and not be struggling because I know how to navigate these waters, why am I leaving? I'm not saying it'll never happen, but you know, but that's why it's so important to, you know, I consider myself lucky to be able to like have experienced New York for 40 and a half years. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Beautiful.
But yeah.
What would you say, like, to somebody? Because you mentioned how, you know, a lot of the things that stop you can be fake. It's all like in your head.
Mhm.
Like, what would you say that really like took you to that place where you just, all right, now's the time?
To be honest, bro, and I don't mean to get like spiritual, deep, or whatever. However, you know, your viewers are gonna perceive it. But a lot of it came from what they call like shadow work, which is basically just like being self-reflective, doing a lot of reading, doing a lot of meditation, doing a lot of praying, like doing a lot of introspective, like just work, you know, on myself. At the end of the day, look, we all got friends, we all got acquaintances, we all got in our mind sometimes at some point an image to uphold, whatever the case may be. The only person you can't lie to is when you look at yourself, but when you look at yourself in the mirror. You can almost lie to yourself if you're laying there staring at the ceiling. But if you look in the mirror, you really can't bust that lie down. And if you do and believe that shit, you're a psycho. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a lot of that. It was a lot of like just understanding, like, you have all these things, bro, and you've been wanting to do it, and what's holding you back isn't real.
Yeah.
So go do this shit. But a lot of that came from the work that I did, you know, over the past few years for myself, just to be the best version of myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What do you say, like, in 5 years, what you want everything is fake, everything is real to be at?
I mean, I would like to get to the point where 3 to 5 years, the goal is standalone brick and mortar shop.
Nice.
That's an experience,
Yep.
you know, and can do the best job of translating the brand's message through the actual space, like beyond the clothing, not actually the space itself. You know, that you come in and you just kind of understand the dualities, or even want to have a conversation about it, you know, because think about it. Is family fake or is family real?
Real.
All right, so what about family members that do you greasy and just don't care about you and have their own intention? Is that real family or is that fake family?
By blood.
Forget about that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You also have family that you choose. Those are your friends, right? And sometimes they're more of your real family than your actual family, right? Is money fake?
Yeah.
Is money real?
Yeah.
You see? So we can keep doing this for a really long time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, is love fake? Is love real? Is sex real? Is sex fake?
That's very real.
Right? We can and you can just keep going and going and going, and just like, it just gives me an opportunity to like have these conversations. But also, what I've realized is that through the graphic story, it's just art, right? It's art on a garment that you can wear, and you're gonna wear it if it aligns with what you believe in,
Right.
or the statement, or whatever the case may be, or you just want to be controversial, you just want to cause a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that.
So, like, I'm getting somewhat older, obviously, and I'm starting to just really see the value in sharing intellectual information.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Giving it back to people that are younger than you and things of that nature. So,
Very important.
would you have any piece of advice for somebody who maybe wants to pursue, at least for right now, let's just say they want to get into the DJing space? What advice would you have for a young person trying to pursue something like that?
You know what? One of the biggest challenges is getting gear. Right? I'm gonna tell you like this. I didn't buy gear until the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah. My first set was 2014. I had a residency all of 2019. I had spun festivals by then. I had spun in LA, I had spun in Miami. You know what I'm saying? I didn't buy gear until the pandemic. It's just a matter of like, don't be scared, bro. Like, if you're scared I practice literally on a software called Recordbox, because I don't use Serato. I don't like using a computer when I play. I like to be focused on the crowd. I don't like to be hunching over typing. I'm 6'4". I'm not trying to get those. I don't want the smoke with that type of back pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, I literally just put Recordbox on my Mac laptop and fucking just practice transitions. The only difference is you can't practice frequency control. You know, but if that's the case, learn how to blend just using a 2-channel like that on your computer, and go to Guitar Center and plug your USB in your headphones, and you don't even got to go through their speakers or whatever. Play internally and learn frequency control, things like that. You know what I mean? The advice is, do not let not having gear stop you. Should you have gear? Should you practice? Absolutely. I would have been exponentially better. But if that's what's holding you back, don't let it hold you back. And I go to that because I know from conversations that that's one of the things that stops a lot of people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the advice that I would give anybody who's trying. And if you're scared, yo, let me tell you something. So I just spun at Locksmith the other night on Saturday night, 4th of July weekend. Right after the pandemic, everything opens up. It's my first venue. I played a block party a couple weeks ago, but it's my first like venue. First time playing back uptown after all these years, right? Somebody asked me, "You nervous?" I said, "Hell yeah, I'm nervous." And I'll be nervous till my 3rd or 4th song, and then I'm in my groove, and it happens to all DJs all the time. I have a friend. Matter of fact, the one that I said told me to DJ because I have a good ear for music. Mm-hmm. He's been DJing. He's like 33, 34 years old. He's been DJing since he was like 15, high school parties. He told me at that Mystery Land, the second one, that he had to throw up before every set. Or he had to take a shit before every set.
Oh, yeah. The nervous shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this dude is wickedly nice.
Yeah, right?
So it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, really happens. Like, don't worry about being nervous. Just go. Find your groove and go.
Yeah, I feel like you can't always escape that. You know, there's always going to be, like, I'm sure, like, you know, if we have, like, a shoot that it might be routine, but if it's, like, something that you know,
more stakes.
Yeah. Or, you know, you're always going to feel something. And 100%. If you don't, I'm like, do you even really
want to do it? Like, I remember, I forgot who I was watching, but they said they were talking to some type of, like, it was an actor, and she was speaking to like an older actor, and she was saying, yo, the moment you stop being scared is the moment you don't care anymore.
Yeah, and going back to the 2 things on my bucket list, you know, I've heard people, because I've been around people that had motorcycles, stolen motorcycles, all that shit growing up, right? Mm-hmm. And I would hear them all the time. They would say, the minute you're not scared anymore is the minute you're gonna fall, you're gonna have an accident, you're gonna get hurt bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they tell you everybody's gonna fall.
Yeah.
But the minute you stop being scared, you're gonna hurt yourself like really bad. You know, and it's almost that. It's like, be scared, but do it scared. You know, like the homie Low Key said, do it scared, yo. Like, you know, it's okay. And it's okay to fail too, because there's learning in failure.
Yes,
you know, if you fail fast, you get and take from it. You fail fast, learn fast. That's how you get better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, 1000%. I agree.
So,
yo, what is like the craziest thing you've seen while you were on deck? Like something that stood
negative
out.
Negative or positive?
Let's go with both. Let's say the positive.
Okay, yeah, I'd rather. Positive, the crazy shit. What's more positive than people just having an amazing time and just like really wilding? Like,
so what about the negative, Nasty?
No, the negative. Actually, I still feel bad about till this day. I'm not gonna say the venue.
Right. Okay, yeah. No specifics.
My boy and I were playing a Beyonce versus Rihanna party, which. Y'all should know the venue by now.
Yeah. That's
right. So I played. We had 4 hours, and then another DJ was playing the last 2 hours. So the way him and I did it was, I played the first hour, he played the second, and then we back to back the last 2 hours. Right. So I'm done with my hour. He's on. It's between 11 and 12 or whatever. Right. And there's this kid that comes up to the rope, you know, which was about 2 to 3 feet from the stage.
Right.
Y'all know.
Yes.
And he comes up, and there's a security guard there, like there always was.
Always is.
Okay. So he comes up, and he's like, yo, what's up, right? I can't hear what he's saying, right? He's with his girl. She's not being rah-rah about anything, right? So I'm like, what happened? And he's like, yo, can you play? And I was just like, let me get a little bit closer. I was like, matter of fact, come here. I was like, come here. I called him up to the stage. Like, yo, come here. So he comes under the rope, and security grabs him up mad quick. But, like, slams this kid into the wall.
Ooh.
And I'm watching this whole thing happen. Like, why is he doing it? No, as a matter of fact, it was like, what are you doing? And he's like, he told me to come up. So and the kid, like, maybe, like, inches up to go because he's like, yo, the DJ gave me clearance.
Yeah.
And he ends up just roughing him up, whatever. You know how it goes down. Security guards at clubs, because of their conditioning and probably their daytime occupation, they tend to be aggressive first and then ask questions later.
Right.
And so the minute a security guard gets on the mic and says, I need help, they all swarmed. They take him out the spot, right? I'm like, yo, I feel bad.
Right.
But there's like 40 minutes left to go. All he was trying to do was request the record. That's all he was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I feel bad. It's like 30, 40 minutes left on the set. I'm watching him get dragged out the spot.
Yeah.
It's early.
Yeah.
It's not even midnight yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's in danger.
Right.
Right? I told my man, I said, yo, I'm gonna run outside and see if this kid is all right.
Right.
He said, bet. I make my way through the crowd. I'm getting towards the front. The security guard that roughed him up is inside. He's still inside the venue, but towards the door, right? So when the whole thing was happening, I was like, yo, chill. I told security, I jumped off the stage and I was like, security, chill.
Yeah.
Right? And he just looks, he goes, get the fuck off me. And I was like, oh, all right. That whole thing happens. I make my way outside. As I'm making my way outside, I walk past security and I looked at him and I was like, yo, I basically told him he wilded out. Like I said, you overdid it. That was totally unnecessary. And I keep moving. I'm not waiting for his reaction because my goal is to make sure that this kid is all right. Not because my name is on the flyer, but because he was communicating something to me and I told him to come talk to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like responsible.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go outside, right? And after I said that to security, I was like, yo, you overdid it. Like, you overstepped or whatever it was. You know, I didn't curse at him. I just kept it moving. All I hear is, you want some too? And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. See, this is the
adrenaline
problem.
kick.
No, you know, the thing is, and I told him straight up, I said, the problem is that you think that I'm, you know, what did I say to him? I was like, you think that I'm just somebody that knows how to play music. The problem is that I'm a hood nigga that knows how to play music. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm booked by this venue and you're threatening me.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Lastly, because the first thing I asked him, I turned around and I said, are you fucking crazy? That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. And I said what I said, and then I looked at him and I said, here's the craziest part. I know where you're at every weekend. You have no idea where I'm at. So let me ask you a question. What happens in the event that I walk to my car, pop the trunk, and air this place out, and now you caused all your homies to get hit up too? And innocent bystanders, because you ain't know how to act, and you didn't know who I was, right? And not that I'm that guy,
of course,
but you
don't
don't know that.
You don't know
what
that.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, are you fucking stupid? Then I turned around and I spoke to the kid and whatever, and I felt bad. He told me, he was like, the first thing he said was, on my fucking birthday, bro.
Oh,
and I was like,
damn.
you know, and he thought I worked for the club, and he's like, you got a card? And I was like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm hired by the club.
Facts.
I don't work here.
Facts.
I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Right.
And he wasn't okay, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be either.
And then I went back inside and I spoke to the superior security guard who was a dude's boss or whatever. And I told him, I was like, number one, I don't want him near me ever again. Whenever I play here, he cannot be by the stage, period.
Yeah.
And number two, like, I repeated to him, I was like, is this guy crazy? He's going to put y'all in danger.
Yeah.
Thinking that he's talking to whoever.
Yeah.
When I told him was that what he did was unnecessary.
Certain people don't want to hear that though.
Yeah.
So
You know what I mean?
that's the
That's
the extremity of it. It's from
Right.
people having a great time to seeing things like that happen.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and then there's everything in between.
I was about to say, there's a lot in between.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's seeing young people like y'all going for it, like, or me inviting my homies to play and watching them play at a new venue for the first time, coming from another borough and tearing it up, and like being able to, because that's one of the things I did too at those parties. You know, I was curating and I was programming the Latin parties at this spot, right, at La 45, and you know, where I had my residency, and a lot of it was like, yo, Sid, I want you to be the main. This girl's gonna open for you, bet. I love how she opens. Now you curate the rest of the night. So it gave me the opportunity to reach out to Ted DJ, this DJ, that DJ, that. Yo, come play.
Right.
What's that like? I feel like that must feel really good.
It was like, I always like putting people on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I always loved that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, even from when I met y'all, like, one of the first things that I told y'all was like, yo, I think there was a conversation before the zine dropped, and you guys might have even had the idea already, but I was like, yo, I need to do this or whatever, like, and try this and try that. And I told y'all, spread out. You go to these clubs, you go to those clubs, you go to those clubs, you know, and just widen y'all net. You know, like, I don't know, man. There's just something in me that feels like part of my reason for being here this time around, because who knows, right? How many times I've been here, I'm gonna be here, I don't know, right? But this time around, I feel like I'm a messenger more than anything else. You know, I was born in 1980, and I was thinking about it 2 days ago, actually. I was like, man, I was too young to experience certain things and too old to really like appreciate certain things that the people like that were maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years right behind me. And it's not too like, it's almost like it's of the year, because I feel like anybody that was like, I was born in 87, they're like, I lived the 90s, this, that, and the other, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, other than that, I was like right on the cusp for a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, I just feel like, man, you know, if greatness is there and it's in my destiny, cool. But along my journey, I feel like my responsibility is to be the messenger. That's why I say to people often, if I know that they're exponentially younger than me, like, yo, I'm talking to you from the future. I probably even said it to you a time or two. Like, yo, I'm talking to you from the future. Understand this. You know what I mean? Not because we're living in a different time, but my timeline is a little bit more accelerated than yours because I was born
a couple years
20 years before y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, I feel like that's the important part, you know. And for you guys, paying it forward to the next group of kids that y'all might see in a year or 2 or 3 or 10, and be like, yo,
I'm starting to see it now, and it's a weird weird feeling because I've never been like, for one, I'm the youngest in my family, so I was the youngest person everywhere I went when it came to like family wise. So they see the people.
It's
like,
a blessing though.
Yeah,
it's a blessing
and a curse at other times.
Yeah. But look, man, I'll give you an example. When I was 21, my best friend, again, he's 3 years older than me. We've known each other since I was 4 and he was 7. Right. There was a night we went out. My first clubbing experiences was with him, my brother, whatever. Everybody's older than me. My brother, everybody. You know, I'm 15. They're like 16, 17, and 18, right? So now I'm 21 and I'm in the club and it's just him and I. And this group of kids at 21 and they wilding. And he goes, yo, you see those kids over there? They're the same age as you. But because you got that head start, you know what I mean? And I feel like you can apply that to everything. So if you guys are able to pass along and give another kid a head start,
right?
Maybe that's part of your purpose. Maybe that's part of your purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
No, this is a special feeling that you get when you do it like that. Like that experience we did. We had a pilot shoot that we did. Like somebody that had no experience on camera, you know, operating a camera and just being able to. But it's also, you got to kind of learn how to properly teach and like, and you know, execute it well, you know. But
part of that is exercising your communication and communicating properly, right? It's like one of the biggest keys of life in general. The other thing is, you know, there's a difference between like memorizing something and knowing something, right? Like you could be smart because you got a good memory, but that doesn't make you knowledgeable because you might not be able to explain it. You have to be able to explain it, and that's so there's a combination, right? It's being knowledgeable, right? But being knowledgeable comes with communicating properly,
right?
So that's a really, really important thing, you know. Plus, you guys are gonna see, you know, and I hate to get older on y'all, but you guys are gonna see along your journey as well that the more opportunity you open up to other people, especially whether they're older than you, younger than you, like if you look at your videography, your photography, right? If you look at the trajectory and where you are on the timeline, are you at the beginning? Are you at the end? Are you right? But the more people you help along the way, the more positive and the opportunities that are going to come back. You know? So that's super, super important for me and to me, you know?
I mean, real quick though, I want to go back because I always wondered, a lot of DJs have different opinions on this, and you mentioned something, the story about the kid. What is your take on like requests?
I remember last year because we were all, you know, shifted into streaming. I'm like, yo, 2020, there's no requests whatsoever. I'm playing for you for free from my bedroom. Why are you requesting records? You know what I mean? Just change the stream, bro. You didn't leave your house. You still in pajamas. You probably didn't even brush your teeth yet, depending on what time you woke up.
But you open your mouth to make requests.
You know what I'm saying? I also believe that, like my brother says, if you want to go to the club to make requests, you should just sit home and program music on your own and listen to whatever you want to listen to.
Right.
Because the truth of the matter is 2 things. One, and this is not all the time, but often. One, you played that song already. You played it already. And that person just got there.
Right.
Or wasn't paying attention. Was hollering at some shorty and didn't hear it. Or whatever. She might have taken 100 selfies in the bathroom and missed it. It happens, right? That's one thing. So the party didn't start when you got there.
Right.
The other one is like, I'm going to get to it. And your request is not, it doesn't even line up with what I'm doing right now. So like, chill out. Let the night go. You know, people will come up and be like, it's, let's say party time, whatever, 10 to 4. Now it's like 9 to 1, 9 to 2, whatever, right? And they'll come up and ask you for a mega hit record that you know is going to flip the place upside down, but it's like 10:45.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, it's not my fault that you've been pre-gaming since 7 o'clock, bro.
Chill out. Slow it down.
Chill out.
Yo, that is, see, when you put that out there, it kind of brings up another question. Like, I've had friends who've like DJed and stuff like that. Shout out to my boy Rouse. I know you used to do that back in the day. But like, there was like a thing about certain like DJs when there's multiple DJs on the bill playing certain records. how does that go? Like, as far as, you know what I mean, if there's a song that
I know that like for the most part when I'm on bills, nobody's a headliner. What makes you the headliner for that night, possibly more than likely, is the time that you're playing.
Right.
So in reading the room, you're not gonna look, man. Excuse me. Unless you're an egotistical maniac of a DJ, you understand. Don't go playing the world's biggest record at the moment if you know that. Come on, bro. We're not even there yet. But there's this other part too, and this is on one end. I'm gonna share this with y'all. On one end, and I'm sorry any DJs that are watching if I give this up, but it's the truth, and I know y'all are gonna agree with me. DJs get in their feelings. Why? Because they're creatives. Yeah. So you have your moments. You want to kill it. You're upset if you didn't. Whatever. You want to be the one to get that pop from that record. Whatever. Right? There's a bunch. So now, there was a time where I was playing an R&B party. There's 4 DJs on the bill. 6 hours, 90-minute sets. They put me to open that shit. Was one DJ that was on there that should have been a closer or an opener, and another DJ that was on there that should have been a closer or an opener, right? And then myself and the other DJ, any one of us should have got those prime time slots. I'll comfortably say that, right? No problem, because I understand my tenure, right? Yeah. And what I can do. Fine. They put me to open. I was like, bet. Yo, those last 20 to 30 minutes of my set, I went ballistic. Because that 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock hour, I'll be playing mad slow. I let more of the record go, whatever. That last 25, 30, 20 minutes, whatever it was, I went ham, right? And I did it because I knew that I should have gotten that next slot.
Sending a message.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew it, right? And I also looked at the DJ like, I hope you're ready. Like, this is now, see, the flip side of that, too, is that it's not all that bad because, number one, they're 90-minute sets, so I'm already into that 11 o'clock hour, into the second hour of the party. The room's already full by now, right? Or 75% full. Right. People are vibing. People are lit already, whatever. You have to be prepared. Yeah. Right. As a DJ, you know what I'm saying? I can't come in at any time expecting to play all the bangers. Yeah. What happens if the DJ before me plays all the bangers? Now I ain't got nothing to play. Right. I'm not prepared. Yeah. You supposed to be, and I used to complain about that a lot early on. My brother told me, he goes, yo, let me ask you a question. In the history of music, how many songs that you could play at a party do you think were recorded? And he just I didn't even have to answer. He just looks at me, he goes, thousands. There's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of records. Yeah. That even if somebody played the whole top 40 list, you should still have more than enough and ample to body a set with no problem. You know, so
to not run out.
Yeah, It happens. Sometimes you do it on purpose. Yeah. Sometimes my own boys have done it to me and I look at me and smile like, I got you, right? And sometimes it's just like, sometimes you're like so in the zone and you're like, I know he asked me, he called me or texted me specifically to ask me to not play this record, which is sometimes that happens too, and that's fine. You know, depending on the relationship. Like if it's me and my homies, like, you know, one of my homies hit me the other day. He was like, yo, I don't like to do this. You know, I never do this, but can you not sit? Can you not play? And I was like, got it. I was like, but you know I'm going to play. And he was like, that's fair. Yeah. You know, and it's just like that, you know, especially if you got a good relationship, but you should be prepared. You should be prepared. Just like, like you go out, right? You go out, you're shooting. You're nowhere near your house. Yeah. You run out of film. You got backup rolls. Right. If your camera fucks up, chances are you might even have another camera too. Yeah. You know, you got an extra charger. You got this. You know, you got to be ready. You know, ready sometimes it's the music. Sometimes it's your gears fucking up. Right. Right. So I used to go out with one USB. What happens if that USB fucks up? I'm shot to hell. My boy was like, "Yo, make a clone of it." Bet. Now for the past 3 years, every time I DJ, I got 3 USBs on me, and they're identical. That will not be a reason why I failed. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just the preparation and things like that.
Little things that just help you succeed.
At the end. But the biggest thing that's going to help you succeed is either A, not being scared to move forward, and even if you are scared, like, do it anyway. Do it scared. My brother says on the other side of fear, there's awesome. You understand what I'm saying? That shit is just a fence, bro. Yeah. That's all it is. You know, once you get, all right, going back to what I said earlier about like the doing like a lot of introspective work, right? that shit is a dark alleyway.
Ooh, is it?
That nobody wants to walk through, right? Because ain't no darker place than like your intimate,
the
most
recesses of your mind
and all that, right?
Yeah.
What you think? What version of you is gonna come out of that shit if you make it out of it? When you make it out of it, because nothing you won't.
The strongest.
You know what I'm saying?
The
you just have to
strongest.
keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
So imagine you could walk down this dark alleyway, and on the other side of that is just like utopia.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's how I look at fear.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, just go, bro. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you. You're gonna be all right. And if something happens to you along the way, you're probably conditioned or trained or experienced to. And if you're not, then you're gonna learn from it and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
No, that's a very positive way to look at it. You know what I mean?
I spent too many years being scared of failing.
Fear
And
enough.
not even being scared of failing, being scared of my face being attached to something that failed, which is totally asinine. Like, looking back at it, it was just stupid, and it was the greatest waste of time ever.
Right.
But it's part of my journey, and it got me to this point.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is that, like, something I've heard so many times since is just nobody really cares. Like, you're probably the only person that really cares about what you're doing, unless you're like, you know, there's exceptions. Like, if you're like a really big athlete or some shit like that, then people are gonna care. But at the same time, people are gonna care, and they're gonna care about whatever the fuck else they're gonna care about for the rest of the day.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I know a dude who's all right. So when I was younger and I was making music, right, I went from writing fucking like what would be like spoken word style poetry. Never recited or anything. I just used to write it, right. And then from that, I went into writing raps, and then, you know, recording, and then just like moving away from like freestyling over industry beats and wanting to make original music, right? But I didn't have the money to go ahead and pay somebody for beats, so I learned how to make beats myself. Now my raps was even tighter because they're over my shit. The raps are coming to me while I'm making the music, right? Fine. Then I move away from the recording because I just enjoy the production side of it so much. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, I almost lost what I was gonna say, but you know, people just like have like these things where they're just scared to do shit, right? And back then I was like, I don't want nobody to help me. I don't want nobody to help me. I don't want nobody to help me, right? Y'all think I'm ill. You think I'm ill. You think I'm ill. You think I'm an ill producer. All the drug dealers on this block think I got fire beats. Y'all, nobody's buying beats from me. You don't want to manage me. You don't want to do right? Fine. Fast forward years later, a friend of mine was expressing the same thing to me, and he's wickedly nice. But he's a Scorpio like me, and I feel like he went through the same exact shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to put him on blast. He's in an amazing position right now, doing amazing things for a brand that you guys are well aware of. He's doing amazing things, exponentially proud of him. But, you know, that almost held the mirror up to me to what I went through. You know what I'm saying? And then when I realized is, people will, along the way, people will believe in you once you show them that you believe in yourself.
That's a fact.
Until then,
Powerful.
It's not gonna
that
happen.
Was cool. I fuck with that.
It's not gonna happen at all. You know what I mean? You just gotta believe in yourself and show people that you're willing to bet on yourself.
Confidence.
Yeah,
That's like with anything.
Yeah.
Nah, that's 1,000%.
Yo, so shit. It's been a while, but I remember on your stories, you'd be posting the illest. I don't even eat this shit, but the foods that you be putting up, and then like you would always have like a nice quote to go for it. Like, what is your favorite go-to food? It's funny.
Breakfast, bro. I could eat breakfast 3 times a day, no problem. I just enjoy it. I like, that's the meal that I enjoy the most out the day.
Word.
But you know, around that time, that was just me just being more creative. It wasn't so much because I didn't cook all of it.
Okay.
Right, but I would plate it and take pictures of it because to me, there's an art. There's an artisanal part of making it, but there's an artistic part to plating it. And that's what I enjoyed. And it's funny because my mom told me one day, she said, you plate your food like you're serving it for somebody else. And I like that. And I was like, yo, when I sit down, I want to eat it, and at least before I bite into it, I want it to be appetizing to me too.
Right.
You know? So it's that, but that's just part of the creative in me, you know? But my go-to, man, I don't know, bro. There's a lot of craziness in there that I actually scrolled back and I looked recently. I was looking at like old Instagram posts, and it was like this like creme brulee stuff, pancakes with blueberries, like it was just crazy. Like I fried strawberries, bro. Like I don't know, I muddled and fried strawberries and like had a cinnamon cream cheese. It's crazy.
I'm getting wild hungry. I'm like,
peanut butter stuffed what was it? peanut butter stuffed pancakes with homemade blueberry syrup, like blueberry and jelly compote. Like,
yo,
I just be wildin'.
Nah, yo.
I've literally taken bread and French toasted it.
Mm-hmm.
This was like 3 years ago. I've taken bread and French toasted it and then dipped it in pancake batter.
Oh
So
shit!
you know what
that
I'm
shit
saying?
was
Like,
thick.
but so now what people are doing is doing that and then putting it in a waffle iron.
Yo.
So it's literally French toast with pancake around it in the form of a waffle,
and then putting
you know what I mean?
peanut butter and making it a sandwich. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's
you
wicked.
know?
Nah, that's
Because
wicked.
I used to like I found a lot of techniques because if I wanted to know like how do you see I remember how do you sear tuna like was a question in my head. I don't eat seafood, right? But I watched videos on how to sear tuna. Because you never know what you're gonna pick up along the way, like whether it be how you hold the knife or how you do, you know what I'm saying?
You know what? That's a big point because I'll be watching the randomest food videos that I don't eat any of it, like mad cakes, eggs, and like all this shit.
Yeah, and you learn something.
Yeah. I guess
flowers.
Yeah. Well, real quick, what would you say is a typical day for you, like start to finish? Typical, nothing crazy.
My day is almost like programmed.
Nice.
Okay. Is that a good or bad thing, you think?
I think that's fire at least.
It's good. Yeah. It's a discipline that I gave myself.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like even before. So basically, I had a corporate job, 9 to 5,
yeah.
whatever. Lost it a month after the whole lockdown or whatever. They laid off pretty much like 45% of the workforce. You know what I'm saying? And then around that time, like throughout that time, come November last year, I had the idea of starting the brand, right, based on a conversation where I said everything is fake to her as a reply to something. I'm in LA. I said, man, everything is fake. My boy says word, and I just replied, everything is real. And wow. I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? But luckily, I already had the discipline. That I wake up at 8 o'clock. Well, when I was working, I was waking up at 6:30.
Yeah. Little
by little, you don't have to really go anywhere anymore, right? You're gonna. So I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I go to sleep between 2 and 3, by the way. Right. So for me to wake up at 8, I'm only getting 6 hours of rest. So I wake up at 8, and I literally would just mind the financial news and world news from 8 to 9:30 because that's how you understand what's happening on the market. And then the market gets my attention from 9:30 to 10 in the morning, managing both of my portfolios, a large one and a smaller one. Buying, selling, stocks, whatever it is, or just like holding and just understanding. And then from 10 to 11, it's all like self-care. And then I intermittent fast too. So that gave me, that allowed me to add that, like a different part of discipline where I had like a marker.
Yeah.
So from 10 to 11, it's all like self-care, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be, you know, skincare, shower, whatever. Like
meditation.
Just making my bed like every single day, you know what I'm saying? And then first cup of coffee, first cigarette, take my dog outside, you know, whatever. 11 o'clock I eat, and then from there it was like reading for an hour, so anywhere from half an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what I'm into.
Yeah.
Right? And then from there it's open up my computer and mind the business. Right. You know, till whatever time, depending on what my day is like.
Yeah.
Right. Prior to everything open up, bro, I was sitting there sketching from 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning every day for like 40, 50 days straight, dog. Like weekends, everything. I was nonstop. I was a machine. You know, I had the whole. I was already designing February of goods for next year by April of this year. Like it was just nonstop. You know, so that's what my day is like. I think it shifts too. Like let's say between chapter 4 and chapter 5, there's about when did we shoot? Well, 4/20. So from 4/20 to July 2nd, there wasn't a drop. In that time, it's just, you know, doing different things that have to do with the business or just running different errands or you know, whatever. So that's what my day is like.
Okay.
You know, but I'll be up till like 2 o'clock in the morning and shit. You know, just.
When do you stop? Because you said you intermittent fast. When do you cut the eating?
7 o'clock.
So from 7 to like 11?
11 to 7. 11 in the morning to 7 p.m.
Is that a 16-8 split? Or
that's an 8-hour split. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, and last year I was really, really, really heavy on it. Yeah. Really heavy. Like even to the point where 1 week in June, 1 week in July, 1 week in August, 1 week in September, 1 week in October, half a week in November, and like 2 days in December because of all the holiday food and all that stuff. I literally chose a week out of each month where I only ate fruits, vegetables, water, green tea, no sugar, black coffee, no sugar.
Okay.
If it didn't come from the ground, I wasn't eating it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not bread, not meat,
Yeah.
not dairy,
wow.
not any of that stuff. 1 week per month. So the result of that, from January 4th till the end of the year, I lost 45.6 pounds without walking into the gym once.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just starting that right.
Just changing my eating habits. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like I was doing my sets of push-ups every day just because that was another discipline.
Yeah.
Make your bed every day. Do your push-ups in the morning. Do your push-ups at night.
Yeah,
It wasn't to get brolic or any of that shit. It was just like a disciplinary thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might have taken a couple walks for a few miles just to get out the house. I might have jumped rope like 3 times, but I smoked cigarettes and that shit was just like dying. You know, but
Word.
yeah. It's just that, but it's been an interesting, past pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Very
I worked with you
one-on-one.
a couple of times throughout
Yeah.
the pandemic,
Yep,
which was pretty awesome.
Great time. Yeah.
Still looking forward to working with you guys even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what my typical day's like. Sorry for the long-winded answers.
No, it's just productive, getting a lot of stuff done, getting a lot of new stuff to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
And
Well, the thing is too is that I never run out of things to do because I am the entire company.
Yeah.
So, example, everything for the most part made in New York, right? Let's say like the cut and sewn goods, stuff like that. But when I gotta make these accessories, everybody that makes accessories understands you can't get socks made in America. So now I'm speaking to people that are 12, 13 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
That speak a different language.
Yeah.
The information is going through a translator.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not understanding me and I'm not understanding them only because it's translation software.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I got to talk to you until you get it right. So now I'm speaking to you maybe 2-3 days in a row at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? But then I got to wake up and be the shipping manager because I got to ship these orders out and pack everything and run to the post office, drop all that stuff off, right? And then just the data analyst, the designer, the manager, the media guy. There's sometimes I just take the whole day to manage social media.
Yeah.
And post and write
That's
captions and share and
yep.
whatever, and that's a whole task in itself.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a whole job for people. That's their whole job.
Yeah, there's always a lot to do. I try to remind myself to give myself time off.
Right.
But, bro, I remember the first weekend that I tried to give myself off, Thanksgiving weekend. I tried to give myself that weekend off, and I had only started working like a week before. Matter of fact, no, it was Christmas weekend. I tried because I didn't stop. Once I started, I didn't stop. It was right before Thanksgiving, sometime before. And when I tried to give myself that weekend off, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever it was, bro, by Sunday I was like mad at myself.
Like itching.
I kept looking at the computer like, yo, it was like open me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Pretty much I'm a regular guy. Real regular guy, yo.
Yeah.
Just like to be in a creative space and get creative shit done.
Yes.
1,000%.
100%. We appreciate you pulling up here.
No, thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yeah,
Thank you
always,
guys.
always a pleasure.
Before we depart,
We gotta give out flowers.
Okay.
We each just give flowers to whomever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you start. You know what I mean?
Yo, let me give flowers to my mom.
there
You know what I'm saying?
You took my answer.
I'm gonna give
I was
flowers
like-
to my mom because I said it to her the other day, and I've said it to her a bunch of times. But whenever I talk about her, I try to just like boil it down to the simplest way I can say it. She's the closest thing to a saint that I know. I know that she ain't perfect. She knows that she ain't perfect. But man, that lady's heart is just, it just inspires me to be as good of a human as I possibly can. But since we're here, and I'm the kind of guy to have, instead of give out flowers, I'll give out a flower shop. Flowers to y'all, man, for the consistency. For real, for the consistency. I met you guys in the top of 2019, something like that.
Yeah.
We're in 2021, and you guys have just been consistent individually and as a crew, and I love seeing it.
Thank you.
Nah, that means
Thank
a lot,
you,
bro.
thank you,
We
thank you,
definitely
thank you.
Trying and consistency is key, like you said.
100%.
It's not easy at times, but as long as you, like you were saying, just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it done.
Yeah. You wanna go?
Flowers. All right, so I'm gonna give the flowers out too. Last time I remember, we don't have to do person, right? We don't have to.
You don't gotta be a person. It could be.
a thing, cause low key, I'm gonna give flowers to the AC units today, bro.
The AC units.
The AC units. Shout out to AC units.
Because this summer it's hot.
Yeah.
It's a hot summer.
It's shaping up to be something like really bad.
Yeah.
But New York summers are amazing.
Listen, man, as long as we don't get a blackout, I think we're fine.
Yes.
Right? As long as we don't get a blackout, we're fine.
Right.
That's it. I don't even want to put it in the air, but as long as we don't get a blackout, we're fine, yo.
Shit. I'm gonna give flowers to my mom as well.
There you go.
I'm gonna give it to my mom.
The queens deserve it, man.
The queens deserve it. Like, when you get older, you start noticing more things, and life starts to become. You start to see, like, the different textures of life that you probably didn't notice before. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need a different lens to view it, and
for sure. Like my dad told me. I don't mean to cut you off. Like my dad told me when I was like 16. He passed away when I was like 17 and a half. He told me one day, he said, this private conversation, we were just chilling, and he said, I went to go bring him lunch at work. He was like got a little side job or whatever on the weekends, close to home. And I went over there, whatever. He was like, sit with me while I have my lunch. I was like, bet. I'm talking to him. He was like my best friend. He was like, what's up, whatever. And he was like, he ended up telling me in that conversation that I would never love him more than I love my mom. That I would love my mom more than him. Right. And I was like, what? You're bugging. Like, I love both of y'all. What? Right. It wasn't until I was like, how old do you know?
25.
Around there. That I really, really, it wasn't my dad passing away a year and change later. It was like really like around that 23, 24, 25 where I was like, yo, I understand what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
It's not that you're going to love them more. It's just that it's different.
The way that, you know what I mean, the things that moms would do for their children, you know what I mean? At least good mothers. I mean, no shade to anybody, but
Sure.
But you start to really notice the sacrifices that they make, and I just want the world for my moms. So I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
So
that's absolutely awesome. Yeah. Before I get out of here, because I know my brother's gonna see this, I have to say this. Shouts to little Lila June, my niece. She just turned a month old.
Beautiful.
Fell in love with her the first time. She looked at me and it's just like, man, absolutely amazing. So that's also part of the new excitement that's happening in my life. You know what I mean? And man, things are interesting, yo.
Inspire some more creativity of some sort.
I hope. If I was ever gonna make kids clothes, I don't think I needed any more inspiration than being an uncle for the first time. You know what I mean? So shouts to little Lila June, yo.
Well, that's the Wasted Podcast, people. I would like to thank Sid for pulling up. Absolute legend. Play the music. Everything is fake. Everything is real. Please check out his stuff. Yeah. He makes really great pieces.
Thank you.
Please go check it out.
At Made by Everything on Instagram. MadeByEverything.com.
Yes.
You know, pull up, man. There's something there for you. Trust me.
And there's more coming. So
more coming. We just kicked off the Chapter 5. New York City Summer just launched with the Fireworks Coatee. It was a pre-order. There are 4 more designs coming for this chapter. They're all pre-order units. So it's up to y'all. Some of them will be 72 hours, some of them will be 96 hours. But follow Made by Everything, you know, and
you'll know when everything's coming.
You'll know when everything is coming.
There you go.
Nice, smooth. We out.
Oh, man. Woo.